Hi guys, welcome to an episode of how I spent 14 years as a stay-home dad for my son. Now today I'm not talking about myself, I'm actually talking about this very viral video that blew up on CNA. Now if you like reaction videos on financial topics, stay tuned right to the very end because I'll be leaving some other very nice reaction videos. And before that, smash on the subscribe button so that we can get to 100,000 subscribers to impact more Singaporeans. Big thank you. And without further ado, let's get started. The story is about Jue Ming and his dad. And right at the very start, Jue Ming mentioned something. It will be so enjoyable to be at home. Now I actually love this start because it's so sarcastic. But maybe Jue Ming was just being accidental on that tone. Because as we were to discover in the subsequent part of the story, he can actually be very sweet. But as I'm pointing out, as he's saying to his dad's reaction to this comment, enjoyable to be at home, it's pretty obvious that his dad is pissed, correct? So straight away to a good story, we have some conflict and some drama. His dad goes on to explain he's not only lost his income, but more crucially, he feels he has lost his dignity. Now, dignity is actually a very strong word. It's like pride, losing my pride. Maybe he has felt disrespected before when he has visited relatives, friends, or just simply being in the markets. Because in a traditional Chinese society, men actually act as breadwinners more often than not. There's also been questions asked before, is it humiliating for a Chinese man to be jobless and have his wife bringing the income for the family? So this kind of social stigma has been around for a long while. And naturally, when he thinks back on all the criticism that he has faced, his eyes started to swell up with tears. Maybe he feels alone in this journey as a stay-home dad. And he's actually right. Because if you see in terms of statistics, only 7.4% of households in Singapore have only the wife employed. That is 1 out of 14 couples. And of this 1 out of 14, we don't know how many of these husbands are actually sick or are actually retired. I have actually many private clients who are wives working alone because their husbands have accumulated enough wealth and are happily retired at home. But quite clearly, Jue Ming's father is not retired. He has chosen to forsake career to become a stay-home dad. It is very natural when someone takes a different path that people have criticism and curious eyes about it. Because he's mentioned also that many people have asked, why do you stay home instead of going to work? You are able-bodied. Are you just being lazy, or you cannot make it, or you are unemployable? These kind of criticisms are very difficult to hear, and if you're on the receiving end, you would kind of feel his loss of dignity as he's mentioned just now. So Jue Ming's dad has further shared that he's not just a stay-home dad for the last 14 years, taking care of all the household chores like cooking, washing and stuff, but more importantly, he has been a caregiver to Jue Ming. Jue Ming is actually a child with certain medical conditions, to be specific, hemophilia B ever since he was young. And this condition, to understand in layman terms, is that your blood cannot clot. Which means if you have a cut, you have an injury, you are going to be in serious problem because we need our blood to clot to prevent over loss of blood. Hemophilia B is not as bad as hemophilia A. And as what I can show you over here, hemophilia B was actually present in Queen Victoria of England's family itself. Right now, there are no remaining carriers of hemophilia B in the family, but it's also been speculated that had it not been in the royal family, treatment for this disease would not be so fast. For any patient suffering from hemophilia, maybe they've kind of benefited from the rapid push in improvement in medical technology. In the story itself, it's mentioned that Jue Ming's dad has to step in many a times to help his son. Like for example this case whereby they've had to go to A&E because the medical injection couldn't work, and that becomes a day spent. Imagine if his dad was working full-time, taking leave out of a sudden may not be as easy as what we can hope. But the problems do not end there. Jue Ming actually has high-functioning autism, which means he has special needs, and that explains certain social issues that he has. And in such situations, the responsibilities of the parent become even larger than normal. Yes, a parent can hire a helper in, I've seen that before, but helpers come and go, and helpers may not have the same love a parent have for a special needs child. So with or without a helper, the parent being around becomes crucial to such a situation. So when faced with this dilemma of who to stay home, the natural question that everybody will ask Jue Ming's dad is, why you staying home and not your wife, correct? He's openly shared that his wife's salary is higher. So between them, they've decided that she continues to work and he be the stay-home dad instead of she being the stay-home mom. You know, just like I mentioned, when things are out of the norm, we judge people, we become too quick to judge, we associate our own situation to his. But again, if I were to be in his shoes, I would think that the one earning higher, going to work still makes more sense. So I'll definitely support their decision, and it will be interesting if we have a chance to hear what his wife's side of the story is. He's well aware that him staying home would mean that the family would lose one source of income. And from this picture, it's quite easy to see that they are a family of 4, with Jue Ming having an older sister that seems to be at least 5 years older than him. And this draws a point. Can they afford to lose one source of income? It's been shown in later studies that it is likely that 6,600 per month in expenses is needed for a family of 4 for basic living. This is a finding from NTU and LKY SPP. But if you read this finding, MOF has also suggested that this 6,600 includes what people would like to have also. So take with a pinch of salt. My personal view is that one income loss for the family is not the end of the world. I have private clients who are single income earners for the family also, but they do draw quite a bit of income. My view is that if the family is earning 6,600, although it can fit basic living needs and maybe some things of what people like to have are also included in the amount, I still think that that level is a bit dangerous. Because more often than not, if that is the only income, then retirement planning would definitely fall short. My personal preference is that if there is only one single income, that single income should be at least $10,000. Then that will fulfill the median household income in Singapore and also give a bit of buffer for the couple to have something for retirement. That is my point of view. Let me know in the comment sections whether you agree or not. Or if you're a couple thinking of whether one should leave work or not, again, how much is needed depends on expectations again. There are stories of a single income family with 8 children, and you can see that they have mentioned they are not poor, they are rich in family time. So many kids with single income just means that they have no tuition allowances, they have no helper, and they have no car. A lot of the expenses they have to cut back, but by focusing on other things that they have, they are still a happy family. The story goes next to show that Jue Ming has actually been faced with questions. Hey, Jue Ming is now old enough already. Why isn't his father returning back to work? Isn't it shameful for his father to be unemployed? Jue Ming has actually shared that while right now he's in his teenage, he's a lot more independent than when he was much younger. He still requires his father's help, especially when it comes to medical needs. Again, we don't know the real family situation, the real medical situation. But my first thought also is, it's always good to plan a transition phase. What if his father starts to think, hey, Jue Ming is growing older, I need to slowly let more and more go. It isn't that he's fully independent and he's not independent. Growing up is always a journey, correct? So the transition can also be many, many years. And later part of the story, we actually hear that his father right now is trying to pursue some part-time income, especially in the evenings. The story goes next to understand a bit further on Jue Ming's dad's point of view. He feels that his health has suffered from the caregiving. The decline in physical health is noticeable. The stress has also brought mental health issues. So again, stress doesn't come from just work, it comes from taking care of someone. Because that's not pleasant all the time, and there's always a worry when things go wrong. So if we haven't been in a caregiver position, we can't really feel the stress. I've taken care of my dad in short periods of time. That's why I have a little bit more understanding on caregiver stress. To solve his declining health, Jue Ming's dad has actually now devoted time towards Tai Chi. And now, it seems he's also a Tai Chi instructor. In this screenshot, he looks amazing. And he's also mentioned that right now, Tai Chi teaching is possibly an income source for him. In that segment of the interview, He's mentioned also that he has felt disconnected from society, perhaps because he's been staying home too much and not socializing with friends and society in general. To this point, I think it relates also a little bit to retirement. If you and I become retired and we stay home all the time, this is something that we need to take note. Being disconnected from society is problematic. We lose our identity, we lose our communication skills, we lose sometimes our ability to handle day-to-day stress. And not just that, we lose relationships. Jue Ming's dad has shared that right now, being a Tai Chi instructor, he has made a lot of new friends. I'm happy for him for that, and it reinforces, for me at least, to promote more on savvy retirement. Don't be retired fully to stay at home. Do something also when you are financially free. You may not like Tai Chi, you may like yoga, so go ahead and do that and be a happy retiree. Before I share some tips to Jue Ming's dad, let me invite you to smash the subscribe again so that we get to the journey of 100,000 subscribers. And here are my tips. Jue Ming's dad, if you happen to watch this, I would suggest that you also build a YouTube channel on Tai Chi. When you're doing a lot of filming, always get Jue Ming to help you with the editing process. YouTube and social media can actually become a viable income stream. Not just that, you can actually build your following using Tai Chi as a hobby. I believe it will be a worthwhile journey that you should start on. More than that, I'll suggest that you focus your Tai Chi videos on marketable angles. What are they? Typically, they are beauty, health, and sleep. I put out a channel for you to see, Tai Chi Zidong. You would see that he has actually very smart videos that teach on being beautiful, that teach on losing weight, and you can even add things like sleep, because there are so many people who are looking for solutions to it, and if Tai Chi does indeed improve these in any small form, you realize that your video becomes very valuable. Thank you for watching right to the end, and I've actually these two reaction videos to suggest to you. The first one is on TikTok property videos, and the second one is actually on CNA retirement. Check them out, and I believe you also find it enjoyable. If that's all for me, I'll see you there. Take care as always. Goodbye.